Hey everybody, it's Mr. Odom, and I am going to cover section 9.1, surface area of prisms. So we're going to start with a quote, take some time to reflect. So the quote is, no matter how many goals you have achieved, you must set your sights on a higher one. So the video is going to pause for a moment to give you some time to reflect on this quote. And what does it mean to you? What does it mean to you in your life? So you can write in your composition book, or if you have a journal that you write in that. If you want to share your thoughts with me, you're more than welcome to do that. So the video is going to pause now. Okay, we're back, and it's time to learn how to find the surface area of prisms. So as always, we need our tools. And our KUD, what I need you to know, understand, and be able to do is listed there. There is a definition that you need to know for lateral surface area, and I'll cover that in a moment. So basically, you need to know how to find the surface areas of rectangular and triangular prisms. Okay. So here's an important idea. The surface area of a rectangular prism, where all of the sides are rectangles or squares, is the sum of the areas of the bases, and I add that to the area of the lateral faces. Okay, so it turns out for rectangular prisms and rectangular prisms only, there's a nice formula you can use. So all you do is you label your prism with the length, the width, and the height, and you plug those numbers into that formula. Okay, and you can see here in the net where the length and the width are, and you can also see where the height is. Okay, so finding the surface area for rectangular prism is pretty straightforward. We can also find the surface area of any prism. So this formula, the surface area of a prism equals the area of the bases plus the area of the lateral faces. So I have a little formula that I use for that. Surface area equals AOB, the area of the bases, plus the AOL, which is the area of the lateral faces. Okay. And remember, the lateral faces are not the bases. The lateral faces are not the bases. Okay. And the lateral surface area, so if I want to find the surface area of a prism that doesn't have any bases, all you have are the lateral faces, then all I need to do is find the area of those lateral faces. So we have two formulas, and then we had the one from the previous page. Surface area equals 2 times length times width plus 2 times the length times the height plus 2 times the height times the width. And this is only for rectangular prisms. Let me write that. Rectangular prisms. Okay. So that's what this formula is for. This one is for all prisms. Rectangular or triangular or any other kind of prisms. And then this is just for the lateral surface area. So I find the area of the lateral faces and just add those areas together, and that will give me the area of the lateral faces. So I'm going to pause the video right here so you can write these formulas down in your composition book. Okay, so we're back. And what are we going to do? We're going to look at some examples. So first of all, what kind of prism is this? Okay, if you said a rectangular prism, you would be correct. So what I like to do is I like to label. I like to label the sides. There's my length, and maybe I call this my width, and this my height. Okay, and then what do we do? You can draw a net. You're going to find that I'm going to solve these problems without drawing a net. But if you feel more comfortable drawing a net, then by all means, draw one and then label the sides. Notice that a rectangular prism has 6 sides, okay? And you can see it drawn over here and labeled. Then, so what I do is I just write down the formula. 2 times the length times the width plus 2 times the length times the height plus 2 times the width times the height. And then we just plug in the numbers. Multiply everything out. Find the sum. It's 126. And remember, we're looking for surface area. And remember, area is always squared. So I could have written this as 126 inches squared. That could have been my answer too, right? So you don't have to write it out, write out the words square inches. You could just write inches squared or feet squared or whatever the units are. So that's how you solve a problem like this, how you can find the surface area of a rectangular prism. All right, it's your turn. So the video is going to pause, and I want you to find the surface area of that prism. Okay, so we're back, and let's see, what did you guys do? So what I did is I wrote the formula down, and you notice that I labeled the length, the width, and the height. I do that. The reason I do that is so that when I put the numbers into the formula, I don't I don't use the 3 for 3 feet. I don't use it too many times, or I make sure I use it enough. Okay, so you got to be careful. That's why I always just label each side with the length, the width, and the height, and that's how I do it, and I find that to be pretty helpful. Anyway, I've got the formula. Notice I plug the numbers in, and then just like in the previous problem, I do the math. And what do I have to remember? It's 52 feet, but remember, area is always squared. So it's 52 feet squared. Okay, so the video is going to pause so you can find the surface area of this prism. So we're back, and let's go through this pretty quickly. I label the sides, I write my formula down, and I do the work. Okay, you can see the answer I got was 288 meters squared. Area is always squared. Finding the surface area, the area of the surfaces. Okay, so that's for rectangular prisms. Students typically don't have too much of a problem solving problems like that. But when we get to triangular prisms, that's when, I don't know, sometimes all the wheels fall off. But let's see if we can keep them on. So one of the things we can do is let's look at this net. And we're talking about just triangular prisms. So how many sides, how many faces, I should say, how many faces are on a triangular prism? So go ahead and count those sides and tell me how many faces are there. Okay, so there are 5. Here's one, here's another one. And these two triangles are congruent. They're the same triangle. Here's another face, here's another one, and here is the 5th one. Okay, so that's always going to be the case. You're always going to have 5 faces. So let's go ahead and find the surface area. One of the things we need to do is find the area of the base, because remember, our formula surface area equals the area of the bases, because there are two of them, plus the area of the lateral faces, which there are three of those in a triangular prism. So we find the area of a base, or one of them, and I see that I have the triangle, and here's my base. B equals this, and then my height equals 4. Divide that by 2, and I get the area of a base. The area of the lateral faces, so they have color coded each one of the rectangles. I'll show you a different way how I do it on the next one. Um, so you find the area of the green rectangle, then the purple one, and then the blue one. And what do? You're going to add all these areas together. So I have the area of the bases plus the area of the lateral faces. And remember, there are two bases. So I have to take 6 and add it together, or add another 6 to my surface area. So I should count to make sure there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've accounted for all 5 of the faces. Okay, so you add that together, I get my answer. So it's 84 square meters, or you could write it this way: surface area equals 84 meters squared. Okay, okay, it's your turn. Find the surface area of this triangular prism. The video is going to stop now. All right, so we're back. So here's how I do this. I write down the formula. Surface area equals the area of the bases plus the area of the lateral faces. And then I go off and I calculate what is the area of both bases. And I draw a triangle. You see the triangle that I drew right here. And I label it with the base and the height. Okay, so my base equals 5 and my height equals 12. I write down the formula for the area of a triangle. And then I fill in what I know, the base and the height, divide by 2. So the area of one of those triangles is 30 meters squared, but I have 2 of them. Okay, so 2 times 30 is 60. Then I find the area of the 3 rectangles. Remember, I told you there's always 5 faces. So I have accounted for the 2 triangles, and now I have 3 rectangles. And I always label the sides of my rectangles. And on this one, I wrote the formula for the area of a rectangle. I know you guys know that one. And then I calculate the area for each one of those 3 lateral faces. Remember, the lateral faces are not the bases. And then I find the sum of those. And then I go ahead and put these 2 numbers. My 90 goes up here, and the 60 goes here. I add them together, and then I put the units. Okay, so that's kind of the process that I use when I want to find the surface area of a triangular prism. Hopefully that's the answer you got. Let's try again. So the video is going to pause so you can find the surface area of this prism. Okay, we're back. Hopefully you recognize that it was a triangular prism. So I found the area of the bases. I found the area of the lateral faces, and I just add them together. So I get 60 square centimeters. All right, so here is a cube. All right, and so there's a formula for the surface area of a cube. It is the surface area equals, if I call one of these sides little s, which you probably won't be able to tell my little s from my capital S, um, there are 6 faces on here, and it turns out that the surface area is 6 times one of the sides squared, because there's 6 sides to a cube or a rectangular prism. And the area of one of those, it's a square, so it's s squared. Okay, so the surface area, here's the formula, equals 6s squared. So I'm pause the video for a second so you can write that formula in your composition book. Okay, so hopefully you've written that one in your composition book. That's a handy one to use. And then all you have to do is put in whatever the side length is. You square it and multiply it by 6. So it's a pretty compact, simple formula to use. Okay, so that's how you find the surface area of a cube. All right, so last problem. So there are these purple traps and the outsides are coated with glue to catch these emerald ash borers. So you want to make your own and you need to coat the outside with glue. So here's what it looks like, and you need to find the lateral surface area, right? We don't have any bases. The top and the bottom are open. So I'm going to write SA for surface area. Okay. So let's do that. Find the lateral surface area. So you don't need to find the area of the bases, just the area of the lateral faces. Okay. So I have my length. Here's my length, my width, and my height. I still label those. I plug them in to the formula and add them up, and I get an answer of 880 square inches. You could also write it this way if you want. Surface area equals 880 square inches. All right, so that is it for section 9.1. Do you have any questions for me? The video is going to pause so you can ask them. Okay, so we're back. Hopefully you asked me some questions and hopefully this video was helpful for you. I enjoy working with you guys and I will see you soon. This is Mr. Odom. I just did my little dance, which means that I am out.